Hi everyone, and welcome to Eden's Secret and episode 8 of Soap Making from Scratch. Today we're going to be making an authentic Aleppo soap. Now, did you know that Cleopatra was well known for using this recipe? So if it's good enough for Cleopatra, it's good enough for us. Let's get onto the recipe, shall we? Okay, so we're going to be using just 2 oils today. We're going to build those up as we go through this series. The type of lye that we're going to be using today is NaOH because we're going to be making a solid soap. So we need sodium hydroxide for that. And our weight of oils we're going to be doing in grams. And we need 851 grams of oil to fit our mould. Our water as a percentage of oils, as usual, is going to be 25%. We're super fatting at 5%. We're not using any fragrance because this recipe does not need fragrance. We're going to choose Laurel Berry Oil, which is a very expensive oil, by the way. And of course olive oil, because this is the original recipe that is used for Aleppo soap. So we're working in grams today, and don't forget it'll give us the ounces and the pounds conversion if you want them. 425 grams of Laurel Berry Oil, 426 grams of olive oil. Calculate the recipe, make sure it says 851 grams here to coincide with the 850 grams as our weight of oils, and that we have 100% as our weight of oils. Then click view or print recipe. Okay, so here's the printout of the recipe. So this is the Eden's Secret 2x oil soap recipe. I might do a few 2 oil soap recipes because I was thinking, obviously, the Laurel Berry Oil is really expensive and probably not many people would use that in their soap anyway. So I'll give you another option for a 2 oil recipe, probably olive oil and coconut oil together next time. And the only reason I want to do this is because it's the oldest recipe out there available, and so that's why I wanted to do it. I wanted to include it in this soap making from scratch series somehow. So your total oil weight is 851. Just make sure you check all these numbers that they do go with what you originally wrote down, because sometimes some mistake can be made. Like I actually printed this off and I'd put 451, so I just made a typo, you know, when I was typing the numbers in. 25% water as a percentage of oil weight, so that means the amount of water in the recipe is 25% of 851 grams. We're super fatting at 5%, and then these are your measurements here. We're working in grams today, but if you want this recipe and you usually work in ounces, the ounces are there, and also the pounds are there if you want to work in pounds. So if you want a copy of this PDF, just message me on my website and I'll send you a copy over. It seems like a lot of people have been really interested in these printouts, which is great. So then underneath it just tells us our oil measurements, again in grams, ounces and pounds. Make sure you don't get these columns mixed up. If you're working in grams, either circle it or cross out the other 2, or vice versa. Now, what you will notice quite dramatically from the very first recipe we did last time is that the numbers of the qualities of your soap have changed dramatically just by adding 1 extra oil. In the Castile soap, none of these numbers actually fit within the range, and a lot of the numbers were way out. There was only one that was in, it was only in by one. So just by doing half olive oil and half laurel berry oil, you'll see that for this recipe of hardness, it is right on number 29. So it is within range, it's on number 29. Cleansing is 13, and the range is between 12 and 22, so we're definitely within range there. The conditioning is 70, so we're just out of range, because the range should be between 44 and 69. And then bubbling, you know, it is under, but it's so much closer than those numbers were before. So creamy, 17, and the range is between 60 and 48. So nearly all the numbers are actually within range. And you're going to see as we go on how much those change. And then what will actually happen when we've got probably 4 oils, 3 oils in even, all the numbers will be within range, and adding or taking away a small percentage of each probably won't make much of a difference to what these numbers end up being in your recipe. So that's something I'm really interested to show you for the future. So let's get some soap made, shall we? We're going to measure out our water and lye first. Okay, so this is the area here where the measurements are for our water and lye. So it's sodium hydroxide, which we always call lye in soap making, and it's NaOH, which we know is for solid soap. So the amount of water we need, and we're going with grams, is 212.75, but I'm just going to round that up to 213. And then the lye is 111.83. I'm just going to round that up to 112. It's absolutely minute, and most weighing scales only measure up by a gram at a time or 2 grams at a time, some weighing scales, but luckily the scales I've got, they do just measure in 1 gram increments, so that's why I'm rounding it up. And just don't even worry about that minute, it's just probably a couple of granules, that's all. Okay, so we're going to weigh out the water first. And we need 213 grams, which is 7.5 ounces or 0.469 pounds. Going over again. There we are. So until you get very used to it, always measure your water and your lye separately, then add the lye to the water. So we're just going to zero that out, and we need 112 grams of lye. And then you're going to need a metal spoon, and just gently pour your lye into your water. You can stir it if you want to while you're dispensing it. I tend not to. I just pour it in and then I stir immediately after. So you'll notice with the soap making from scratch videos, they're a lot more detailed than my regular videos, because my regular videos basically I'm just showing you the techniques I'm using and what colours I'm using and everything. But these videos, obviously I have to film a lot more because they are so detailed. Which means more editing time and more time preparing everything, just especially for you. So you can see that the water is becoming more clear now, and that's another way of telling whether your crystals are dissolved. You can also tell by the spoon. You can feel if the crystals are still there, because you can feel them vibrating against the spoon, and I know that there's no crystals still that need dissolving in here. So now I know that, I'm just going to let it sit for a minute on its own, and then I'll come back to it and I'll give it another stir, just for, you know, just to ensure in my own head that all those crystals are dissolved. And then we'll just allow it to cool, and we'll get our oils ready. Okay, so you can see the water is a lot clearer now. That means all of those crystals have dissolved and it's just on ready to cool down. So just giving it an extra stir to make sure nothing settles on the bottom of that jug. Now we're going to weigh out our oils. So I'm just going to use my 2 kilo jug here. And we'll start with the olive oil. So olive oil, we need 426 grams. And just so you know, I haven't warmed up the oils at all. They're just coming straight out of the bottle. The Laurel Berry Oil, if it's cold, will need warming up a little bit. So just do that on 30-second increments in the microwave in a heat safe container. So the Laurel Berry Oil I'm using is from Mystic Moments, and it's nice and runny. It was fairly cloudy when I got it and pretty thick, so I'm not going to tear the scale. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to pour the Laurel Berry Oil in until we get 851 grams, which is our measurement for the full total oil weight. It is looking a little bit thicker and a little more cloudy than I thought, so I might warm these up in the microwave a little bit. You can see this is a very different oil to what we're used to using in soap making. It has a really strong smell, quite medicinal. Sort of maybe coal tar, or what's coal tar? Yeah, coal tar, but not strong like coal tar. So I'll only ever be making this soap once. I'll never make it again. There we go. So I bought 500 mils of that, so there's a little bit left in the bottle. I'll just give that a stir and see what's going on. It does, you can definitely feel there's a thickness to it. So I fairly suspect that this is going to get up to trace pretty quick. And I'm thinking because of that, I don't think I will put it in the microwave, but let me just check. I just want to make sure. Okay, it's time to add the lye now. So you really wouldn't want any fragrance with this because it has this nice, interesting, earthy, strong smell anyway. Of course, if you're in Aleppo, Laurel Berry Oil probably is very inexpensive, but because we're importing it for use over here, it's very expensive. So for that 500ml bottle it was about 40 quid, so it's a lot. Yeah, it's thickening up really fast, and I didn't expect that to happen. Okay, sorry I didn't have the camera correct in the last scene. Luckily you could still see what I was doing, but it wasn't perfect, so my apologies for that. Okay, let's unmold this beautiful soap, shall we? See what it's like to unmold and cut. Wow, it's so powerful, the smell. So, really love it actually. I mean, it's not like a fragrance or a perfume or anything. Or even, it might be like some essential oil, but I can't even think what. So as you can see, it unmolded really well. I wish I hadn't messed about with the top so much. Sort of wish I'd just left it flat now. So I'm just taking a potato peeler and peeling off any raggy edges. I kind of wish I'd just left it so I could do cubes of soap instead of slices, but I am going to do slices. Okay, so let's cut this baby. I mean, the colour is incredible, isn't it? I actually like the width as well. It's the 7 centimeters width I really like. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I've got to cut them into slices just because I've textured the top. I can't really do them in cubes, can I? I'm just measuring here to see. Oh, but no, it's not exactly 10 inches, but it's about 10¼ inches. But I don't want to cut a slither off the end. That's what the inside looks like. It's so smooth and absolutely gorgeous. I love it. I'm excited to try it actually. I wonder if it's even worth doing a lather test on it yet. See if we've got anything at all. What I probably do is all the different soaps that I'm making. It would be better if you had a lather test at the edge of every video, wouldn't it? Where I'm actually making something. I think that's what I'll do, but obviously the soap's just been made and the lather will get better as the soap cures. I was thinking I could like make all the soaps and then just do a video where I'm testing all the lathers in the soaps. I could still do that, couldn't I? But maybe it'd be a good idea just to test the lather now and then then at least you know whether it's got any lather at all. I'm just going to cut a little slither off the end to do that. Right, so I thought it'd be a great idea to actually stamp this soap, of course. But we're just trimming the edges up first. So I won't be selling this soap. I don't have a safety assessment for it, so I'm not giving it away either. I don't think it makes any difference whether you give soap away or sell it. But any of the recipes that I have got assessments for in my soap making from scratch series, I'll be able to sell those, but I can't sell this one. I haven't got a safety assessment for it, and I won't be getting one. It's not a soap I'll be carrying in my range, but I was really interested to make it. Actually excited to make it, and I'm really glad I did. So I actually also have another soap stamp here. I'll put a link in the description box to where I bought that. I don't know if I got it off Etsy, so I don't know if I can actually find the company I bought it from, but I'll find you one that's similar, and you can get them custom made. Obviously they'll put the name of your business or whatever on there. I've had this soap stamp for 10 years, so it's probably not even on there where I got it from now. Oh wow, it feels so incredibly smooth. Wow, oh wow, that is absolutely beautiful soap. Wonderful large bubble lather, then it turns to really creamy lather. That is, wow, that's the nicest feeling soap I've ever felt in my life. Alright, I want to add it to my range. Wow, that is absolute, oh, it feels fantastic. Oh, I wish you could feel it. It really is like a moisturiser. I'm in love. It's nicer than the Castile, that's for sure. So we're just going to place it in the centre. And just take a mallet . Now when you do this, you can tell whether it's worked well. I don't know if you can see in here, but if any of the letters are light in colour, it kind of means that the letters haven't sunk right into the soap very well. So you can see the Eden Secret's looking good. Let's just check. No, the others are quite good, so I can remove that now. And there we have a lovely soap stamp on what looks like a very, very traditional back to basics Aleppo soap, doesn't it? If I'd done a flat top, I could have stacked them all up like they do with the Aleppo soaps, but I didn't, so I can't. And I think that looks absolutely gorgeous, do you? Actually, I've seen people spray rubbing alcohol on the soap before they stamp it. So or do they spray it on the stamp? So this will either prove that you need the rubbing alcohol, or it makes no difference, or it's better without the rubbing alcohol. Let's find out. Just the same. Just the same. Wow. That looks gorgeous. Actually, I think it is better with the rubbing alcohol. What do you think? This one is without and this is with. Something I thought you might find very useful while I'm doing these soap making from scratch videos would probably be a good idea to let you know the actual cost to make these products. So the batch, just the oil for the batch, the olive oil, we're saying round about 500 grams. The olive oil was only about 50p, but the Laurel Berry Oil for half a kilo was actually £40. No shipping involved, no shipping cost involved, shall I say. The olive oil I get from my local supermarket when I do my regular shop. But the Laurel Berry Oil, there was no shipping added, so it was actually £40 with no extra charges on top of there. And then obviously you've got your lye and everything as well. That's without the time involved in making such a product, but the actual cost just for the oils in this recipe, I got 8 bars out of the loaf, so we're talking at least £5 a bar just for the cost of the oils. So this would create a very expensive bar of soap. Is it worth it? Would you buy it? I mean, I'm thinking it would need to be at least £12.50 a bar. I know that might sound crazy to some, but obviously there's your time, your electricity, there's everything, you know. Obviously you're going to have to package them unless you're selling naked. Many other things have to come into what your costs actually are. But again, that's something we're going to be dealing with much further down the line when we get to the point where we might want to actually start selling soap. We've got a long journey ahead of us before we get to actually selling any product. And there we have the most beautiful soap I've ever made. Seriously. For how smooth it is, it's the smoothest soap I've ever made. Absolutely wonderful. You must try and have a go at making this. It's a very, very, very special soap. So going back to basics today was very, very worth it, and I'm so glad I did. Alright everyone, thanks so much for watching Soap Making from Scratch episode 8. If you missed any other episodes, I'll put a link to the playlist in the description box below the video or in the information card on the top right hand of this video. I'll see you all very soon for another video, another regular video from Eden's Secret, and we'll have another Soap Making from Scratch episode in 2 weeks today. Alright, bye bye for now.